Alright guys, y'all know this whole Diddy trial has been started for the past like 2 months now. And I was like, you know what? We might as well catch up on some moments that could really lock up Diddy for real, you know what I'm saying? Potentially for life. We don't know, but the way this trial's been going so far, it's been looking pretty bad for him, you know what I'm saying? We had Diddy's assistant come to the stand saying how he witnessed Cassie get bruised up by Diddy. There's other stuff, man. We had Kid Cudi come up to the stand talking about how he tried to blow up his car. Mad stuff, man. You know, and Cassie that's been saying what she dealt with and stuff like that. But in this video today, it's titled Top Moments That Could Lock Diddy Up for Life, Diddy Trial. So let's get straight into it. If y'all new, y'all already know what to do, man. Sub up, like, comment, share this. Let's get it.
This trial about? Is it about racketeering or is it about abuse? I've got a lot of answers for you. But this particular episode, this one's different because today I'm actually counting down the 10 most damning and incriminating, jaw-dropping moments from the trial so far. And they're incriminating because the feds are trying to prove racketeering. And they are actually putting the chain together. So we're going to help you get through that. First, I've got this. A drop-dead serious legal alert. If you've received Depo-Provera birth control shots and you were later diagnosed with a Okay, now back to the issue at hand. The Diddy case. These are the moments that will never, ever leave him. They will never let him enjoy a moment of real peace. They will never allow him to return to the life that he once had. These are the moments that will finish.
But you know what's crazy though? Not really crazy, but it's just like I felt like he enjoyed his life so much already that even if he gets life or 30 years, whatever, he probably really did everything that he really wanted to do. Dead ass. You feel me? But let's continue.
Finish off a career that catapulted him to the top of the A-list, to the top of the 1%ers, and to the top of ultra stardom and ultra wealth. These are the moments that will torpedo that legacy forever, whether he is found guilty or whether he walks. So buckle up and let's get right into it. Number 10. Let's start with someone on the outside, a man named Israel Flores. He is currently an officer with the LAPD, but back in 2016, he was a hotel security guard at the Intercontinental in Los Angeles. The same hotel where Diddy's longtime girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was assaulted that year on camera by Sean Combs. It's the video that is seared into our memories in this trial. And way more importantly, it is seared into the memories of the jurors. Officer Flores wasn't just there when the vicious beating happened. He was there for the aftermath of it, too. He testified that he was dispatched to the 6th floor for a woman in distress, and he found Cassie up there, shaken and bruised and terrified. And when Diddy entered the picture, Officer Flores said he had what he called a devilish stare. Then came the alleged bribe. Officer Flores told the jury that Diddy handed him a brown paper bag with a stack of cash in it. He said it was the length of his pinky to his thumb. And Diddy said these words, "Don't tell nobody." Flores said he interpreted that as a bribe. And just when you think that that night couldn't get any worse, it did. Number 9, Cassie's former best friend, Carrie Morgan. She took the stand and she described what happened after that now infamous hotel hallway beating in 2016, when Cassie came home with a black eye, wearing a hoodie pulled tight over her head. Then just hours later, Cassie says Diddy showed up, and Carrie said he was holding a hammer and used it on the door to get in. Carrie panicked and said she called Diddy's security and that someone may have called the police.
Did you know that some of the most
should I understand, right? It's like a person could do all this shit, right? Could be so evil, manipulative. That's an overall bad person, right? And then go home, act like nothing happened, treat his kids, his family like he's the best person, bro. So he's just like, that shit is crazy to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you think how you think he would treat everybody, not the same, but like people would say things like, yo, like why is he this way all the time? Or just like outside of his relationships, man, he's like seemed like a super good guy based off of what everybody say. You know what I'm saying? Outside of all these accusations, but I don't know, man. It's just crazy how the mind works.
Who ended up in the hospital, it was Carrie Morgan. She told the jurors that Diddy choked her and threw a wooden hanger at the back of her head hard enough to give her a concussion. Carrie said that Cassie complained to her that she was just being overly dramatic about the situation and offered her $30,000 to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Carrie said she signed it, but that NDA was the end of their friendship. And just when you think it can't get darker, it does. Number 8. What comes next is the government's blueprint for what they say was the very heart of the criminal enterprise, the freak-offs. Cassie told the jury that these weren't just spontaneous sex parties, they were staged encounters organized down to the last bottle of Astroglide and baby oil. She described inflatable kiddie pools filled with baby oil, and it had to be Johnson & Johnson brand. She said it also had to be heated in the sinks in the hotel rooms, either by her or by Diddy's assistants. She said she used fake names like Veronica Bang and Anita Crawford to book the rooms, but also fake names for Diddy like Frank Black or Frank White. She testified that she booked the male escorts off of Craigslist and oftentimes flew them in from out of state. That's important because that, if it's true, means they were crossing state lines for the purpose of prostitution.
Yeah.
Cassie told the jury that Diddy would force her to search for black men online to take part in the freak-offs, and that he specifically wanted men with large penises. But one moment left the courtroom in total silence.
Yo, that shit is crazy, bro. Yeah, it's so crazy. I'm laughing, bro, because it's like you would think this shit out of some fucking crazy ass movie, but this is really going on in the news today, bro. Like, how? This world is sick, man. We live in a sick ass world, bro.
Cassie said that during one of those freak-offs, a male escort urinated in her mouth on the orders of Diddy. She said at one point she felt like she was choking and drowning and begged for it to stop, but she said it didn't. And underneath all of it, the sex and the control, there was something else. Testimony about drugs, lots of them. Cassie testified that she was once so high and so disoriented that she began vomiting right in the middle of a sex act. Jurors also heard that Diddy once told her to, quote, finish strong, after what a male escort testified sounded like violence behind closed doors. Cassie said that Diddy provided the drugs, ecstasy, cocaine, marijuana, ketamine, mushrooms, and that she didn't take them to party. She said she took them to disassociate, to numb herself from what was happening. At one point, she told the jury, quote, both he and I were heavily addicted to opiates. Prosecutors say the drugs weren't just for personal use, that Diddy sourced the drugs through dealers, supplied them to others, and built it into the routine. Another piece of enterprise, according to the prosecutors. These freak-offs were so outrageous that Cassie even said that the Intercontinental Hotel once charged a massive cleaning fee because the oil, the wax, and the body fluids that destroyed the hotel room were so bad it cost money to fix the problem. And another witness testified that he was actually with a hotel that put a surcharge on the bills when Diddy booked the rooms, and it was all because of the candle wax and the oil and the cleanup.
Freaky.
And get this, however bad any of those rooms looked, that was after Diddy's staff testified that they were tasked with cleaning up after the freak-offs before the hotel staff members could get into the room and possibly take pictures to sell to the media. Which brings me to number 7, George Kaplan, one of Diddy's former assistants. He testified that he was one of the staffers ordered by Diddy to clean up the mess in the hotel rooms after the wild freak-offs. He told the jury there'd be empty bottles, baby oil on the bed, on the floor, on the table, I cleaned up the drug residue. I disposed of used condoms. And when he needed to restock the supplies, he said he used the Bad Boy Records credit card on Diddy's orders. And that's what prosecutors say makes it racketeering. And not just...
Bro, there is no way he's getting out of this, bro. He's not doing less than 10 years. For sure. He's not doing less than 10 years. And I'm just being nice, bro. Like, this is like a 20 plus year life sentence type shit. Double life type sentence, bro. Yo, this might be one of the worst. Like, I feel like he gonna be on some Frank Lucas type shit. Frank Lucas type stuff, man. He got like freaking 300 plus years within the state and federal. Like, it's crazy. He never getting out, bro. You know?
Depravity. They say the enterprise, Diddy's staff, and corporate funds were used to pull off what they say was coerced sex and forced labor on a regular basis. But up next is where the sex trafficking charge gets a name. Number 6. On the stand, Cassie was shown a photo from one of the Freakoff tapes, and she identified the man in the photo as Jonathan Odie. And if that name sounds familiar, it should. Jonathan Odie.
Who the hell is the Punisher? Jonathan Odie and the Punisher. Who the is the Punisher? That should sound mad zesty, though. The Punisher. Yo, these niggas in their names, bro. Shit's getting real crazy.
And she identified the man in the photo as Jonathan Odie. And if that name sounds familiar, it should. Jonathan Odie is the same man who's accused of opening fire at Donald Trump's golf resort in Miami back in 2018, waving an American flag and screaming about politics.
Bro, I'm not gonna hold you, bro. It's like, how would you feel, like, as a man, as Cassie's boyfriend, husband, whatever he is to her, right, baby father? It's like, just sitting there and hearing all this shit that she's been through, all that shit that she participated in, involved in. Like that, bro. Multiple men urinating in your mouth, bro. It's wild to me. It's wild. There's certain things that I won't be able to cross, bro. If I hear certain things, like take that shit to the grave. But once I hear it, bro, I'm not gonna look at you the same. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Politics and sex. His interview with police was caught on body cam. Back then, it only made a few headlines because it sounded like the rantings of a man in crisis. It was mostly written off as nonsense from a guy who was unraveling. But now, Cassie, the government's star witness, just identified Jonathan Odie under oath, not as a random name, not as background noise, but as one of the male escorts that Diddy paid to perform during the Freakoffs. And suddenly, it doesn't sound so delusional anymore. And he wasn't the only one. Enter the Punisher, a man named Sheree.
This shit is like a movie, bro. What the fuck is going on, bro? This is the Punisher that niggas is talking about? The freaky ass nigga, he is 69 guy.
Hayes, a male exotic dancer who went by the name as the Punisher and who testified that he was hired by Cassie and Diddy to perform privately in a hotel room. He said he remembers working for them between 8 and 12 different times. He said Cassie booked him using a fake name.
Introducing a new Origin PC workstations designed specifically for
Janet. And that he was instructed not to look at the naked man who ultimately entered the room wearing a Muslim-styled veil across his face. That man, he said, took a seat in the corner of the room to watch him perform acts on Cassie. And that man was later revealed to him as Sean Puffy Combs. He described candle-lit hotel rooms, beds covered in sheets, and sessions where Diddy would drop stacks of cash and give step-by-step instructions on what to do next. Quote, move the candle, sit forward, I want to see you fuck her, end quote. This wasn't fantasy, he said.
Yo, this shit
it was
is wild.
coordination, execution, surveillance, and payment. Which brings me to number 5. That's exactly what David James testified that he saw. David was another one of Diddy's former assistants.
Planning.
When David took the stand, he told jurors that he helped coordinate the freak-offs, that he booked the hotels, that he packed Diddy's special Louis Vuitton bag with baby oil and lube and cash and pills. He also told the jury that Diddy recorded everything, and that Diddy once caught David on surveillance tape himself, dancing while he was high on ecstasy at a party. David said Diddy confronted him about it and said, quote, yo, Playboy, was that you dancing? I'm going to keep that footage in case I ever need it, end quote. David said he took that to mean it was a threat that Diddy could blackmail David in the future. And when prosecutors asked him how Diddy talked about Cassie behind closed doors, David testified that Diddy once told him, quote, I've got her right where I want her. She's young. She's moldable, end quote. But that control wasn't limited to what happened behind closed doors, because sometimes witnesses testified the violence was not hidden. It was right out there in the open where other people could see it. Enter Dawn Richard. Number 4. Dawn was a singer and a bad boy artist who told jurors that she witnessed Diddy beating Cassie with a frying pan, after which Diddy, she said, pulled her aside and said, quote, what you saw was passion, what lovers do in passionate relationships, end quote. Dawn added that Diddy told her, quote, where I come from, people go missing if they talk. Dawn said she believed this was a death threat, and she stayed quiet about what she saw for years. She said Diddy also reminded her that he could make or break her career. And speaking of power and control, number 3. If there was ever a moment that laid bare the power that Diddy had over Cassie, this might have been it. Cassie told the jury that in 2018, after what she described as a, quote, closure dinner, end quote, in Malibu, Diddy showed up at her apartment uninvited. That's when, she says, he raped her on the living room floor. Cassie described Diddy's eyes as being, quote, black, uninvited. That's when, she says, he raped her on the living room floor. Cassie described Diddy's eyes as being, quote, black, and said that at that moment he wasn't himself. Cassie said that she never went to the police about it, but that years later she told her husband about it. Alex Fine is his name. And when she filed her civil lawsuit in 2023, this allegation was front and center. You should know that within 24 hours, Diddy settled that suit. And during the trial, we suddenly learned what he paid to make that lawsuit go away. It was $20 million. Cassie received $20 million, and she withdrew that lawsuit. But
it's like, what happens when you pay somebody like to withdraw the case, right? To throw out the case, not throw out the case, but like kind of make it not talk. And then you go back to court and you talk. So what happens to the money? Did he get that back? Like, how does that work? You know what I'm saying? If anybody knows, comment below. I'm curious on how that works, because he basically gave her $20 million for free.
the damage was done because that lawsuit also formed the basis for the federal investigation of P. Diddy and the ultimate charges against him. Prosecutors say the alleged wasn't an isolated incident of violence. They say it was a pattern of behavior, and that another woman saw that violence too. Her name is Mila Morales, and she's a celebrity makeup artist who worked closely with both Diddy and Cassie, and she testified about a weekend during the Grammys in 2010. She said that she and Cassie were staying at the Beverly Hills Hotel after a party at Prince's house. And yes, it is that Prince, the music superstar. Cassie went to bed, the testimony went, and Mila crashed on the couch. But Mila said she woke up to Diddy looking for Cassie and screaming. She testified that Diddy stormed into the bedroom. And although she said she couldn't see what happened in that bedroom, when Diddy left, she said Cassie had a busted lip, a swollen eye, and knots on her head. Mila said she called a doctor, and that the doctor...
So what are you trying to say? That she slept with Prince? Like, I'm confused. So he assumed that she slept with somebody else since she wasn't sleeping with him?
Doctor told her to take Cassie to the ER, but Mila told the jury that Cassie refused. She said, quote, "We were afraid. I feared for my life." Being afraid and alleging that Diddy was responsible for instilling that kind of fear became a theme.
So, hold on. Diddy was with J-Lo prior to Cassie, or was after Cassie? So I wonder what J-Lo knows, or like what she encountered being with Diddy and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Curious.
Theme in the first 2 weeks of his trial. Which brings me to number 2. The moment that turned this case into something else entirely.
If you want to turn your vacation rentals from a side hustle into a business, try Guesty. Before
Kid Cudi, a Grammy winner, a rapper, an actor,
Kid
and
Cudi.
a witness who told this jury about the time he dated Cassie and how their relationship ended. And in short, he said it was because of Diddy, his jealousy, and all the violence that ensued. Kid Cudi testified that Cassie called him early one morning, panicked, saying Diddy had discovered they were dating. He said he got a second call from Capricorn Clark, Diddy's assistant. And he testified that Capricorn told him that Diddy had forced her, Capricorn, into a car that was headed right for Kid Cudi's house, and that Diddy had just broken into that house. Kid Cudi says he rushed home to find his security cameras had been turned away, that his Christmas presents had been opened on the counters, and that his dog...
Yo, what the fuck do the Christmas press got to do with Diddy and him, bro? At this point, Diddy just trying to open his Christmas presents is crazy.
was locked in the bathroom and traumatized. And then a few weeks later, Kid Cudi told the jury that his Porsche exploded in the driveway. He pointed out photos to the jury where the top of his convertible was cut open and what was left of the Molotov cocktail that had been tossed inside, scorching the driver's seat. And it should be noted that Cassie testified Diddy had threatened he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car. What do you know? After that, Kid Cudi's car was blown up.
Crazy.
After the explosion, Kid Cudi said he picked up the phone and he called Diddy directly. Kid Cudi told the jury, quote, "I finally told him we needed to meet up and talk. He'd been wanting to talk to me. After the fire, I said, this is getting out of hand," end quote. He said the two men arranged to meet at the Soho House in Los Angeles. And when Kid Cudi walked into the room, he said Diddy was already there, standing by the window, hands behind his back. And this is the way he described it. He was just staring out there, quote, like a Marvel supervillain, end quote. They talked about Cassie, how their relationships overlapped, even though neither one knew it. And then Kid Cudi said he asked the question he'd been holding in, quote, "What are we going to do about my car?" End quote. He told the jury that Diddy looked him square in the eye and said, quote, "I don't know what you're talking about," end quote. Kid Cudi said he pulled his hand back and that Diddy shot back, "Hey," quote, "I thought we were cool. Do we have a problem?" End quote. Kid Cudi said he asked Diddy again, this time for his word, and that He wanted to know if he had anything to do with the fire, and that Diddy gave his word. Quote, no. But Kid Cudi told the jury, I thought he was lying. Which brings me to number one, the raid. The moment prosecutors say proves everything. It was March 2024 at Diddy's mansions in Miami and in Los Angeles. And those two raids happened at the very same time on either coast and involved dozens and dozens and dozens of feds. Federal agents with gear, with vehicles, and ramming speed. In Miami alone, in the master bedroom closet, federal agents said they found 25 bottles of baby oil, 31 bottles of Astroglide, women's lingerie, condoms, sex toys, a Gucci bag filled with cocaine, Xanax, ketamine, and MDMA, a wooden box labeled Puffy, filled with magic mushrooms, and 2 AR-15 style rifles with their serial numbers scratched off. And that's important because A, it's illegal to scratch serial numbers off weapons. And B, the Fed said the proximity of those illegal weapons to all of those sex implements and toys and gel and lube, etc., that, they said, connects them to coercive sex.
Bro, Diddy was just going crazy with everything illegal possible. But hey, man, let me know what you guys think in the comments. How you feel about the whole 10 different moments. How many years y'all think he gonna get? Yeah, shit is wild, man. I don't even know what to say about this shit. But we just gotta wait and see what the outcome is, man. If y'all new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You already know what to do, man. It's your boy Breezy.